How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the TheBlueShifting and welcome back to the Linear Bounded Phenogram and welcome to the new setup. Okay, it looks a little different from your perspective, but in front of me, my entire setup is completely changed. I got a new mic stand that I think is going to be much more appropriate, last a lot longer, and be a lot more versatile for different types of stuff I might want to do, including some voice work I'm hoping to start picking up in my spare time. Spare time is very hypothetical, but you know what I mean. However, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out. This is my first time. So if there are issues or if the audio is a little out of whack, it's probably just me figuring out how this is all going to work out. Hopefully I've got the gains right. Hopefully it's capturing everything right. And hopefully you don't mind the perspective. It's a little bit different, that's for sure. And it's going to take a little changing for me. But I'm also thinking that this perspective might work better. For instance, I can kind of make the window where I'm appearing on the screen right now pretty much fit anywhere, and that'll be a little more convenient for me when I'm recording stuff where sometimes I have to flip the scenes. Like that made it kind of odd, and I'd have to mirror things to make it look kind of reasonable, like I was following along with you. But now that I'm looking straight ahead, or you see me like looking a little bit down as I'm reading rather than looking like to the side when I want to talk to you, I'm thinking it might be a little bit better. And it also just, I don't know, I think it'll look a bit more professional this way. So we'll have to see how this goes. But thank you so much, and I'd love to have your input on this change if you have any thoughts or ideas about like the way the setup is looking at the moment. But I appreciate it. Anything you can say or anything you want to share with me would be fantastic to know. But for now, we're going to go right back to what we were doing. So we have just finished effectively the time loop machine with Daru. After a little bit of like kind of thinking for Nai, she's kind of committed herself to helping out. And she wants to be a part of things. Oh, excuse me. Oh, jeez, what is going on with me? I woke up and just funky. You know, like wrong side of the bed, people say, when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you're feeling kind of cranky. I think I woke up on the wrong side of the bed and I feel just kind of sleepy. Like I want to go take a nap. Even though I got plenty of sleep last night. Anyway, we finished the time loop machine, or, well, the phone wave at least. I'm not sure if it's fully a time loop machine. But it looks like we're done. So what's going to happen? Are we going to actually be able to send the email? How will it change things? Are the agents going to burst in on us at the last possible second? I have no idea. I'm curious to see what will happen, but this could very well be the last episode of Linear Bound Phenogram. I'm not entirely sure, of course, but it feels like we're at the climax. So let's just jump in and get started, shall we? Mission complete, Daru says. He faces me and grins. Yeah.
おう電話レンジバージョン3.00天王寺エディションなのだぜキリ
Aw, Tennoji edition, that's cool.
これがタイムマシン。
It just looks like a microwave oven with a computer cord connected to it. I kind of wish I had more of a wow factor. It looks pretty ordinary.
まあ一応僕なりに2年前の電話レンジを忠実に再現してみたつもりでも2年前だって結局偶然だったわけだし完璧な再現なんて無理なわけだからいざ動かしてみても D メール送れませんでしたってオチは十分あり得るっつうか
Right. Because it was such a kind of convolution of fate, it's kind of tough to replicate it on purpose. But like I said, but out instead of R. Again, the typos. I feel like the typos got more and more prevalent as we went through the series. I see. But after all the hard work, I really want it to work.
そもそも電源入れてちゃんと動くのかどうかも試してないしね。ぶっつけ本番の一発勝負なんで失敗する可能性も大。
Oh, fetch.
成功したらしたで僕がそれを見届ける前に世界線変わっちゃうだろうしこれはひどいなんという報われなさ
それでも使うんでしょ
Right.
当然だおそのためにこれまで1週間以上もエロゲ我慢してここにこもってたんで長かった長すぎた人には我慢の限界っつうのがあるんだお
Right.
ましてや可愛いジェシーに何度もお尻をもみもみされたら理性が持つわけないだろうが
He always ruins these moods, dang it, every time.
同点なめんな
Yeah, stop. How scary. Why did he suddenly get so mad?
あんまり大声出したら、外の黒服に気づかれちゃうよ。
させん
What a cherry boy, anyway. You know what? I honestly don't know. I don't want to know. I'm pretty sure I've got a decent idea, and I don't want it clarified.
それで、いつ使うの？
今日
This is really sudden. Using it on the day it's finished? But I suppose that's only natural. It was built solely to send email, after all. And Daru is being pursued by bad people. And it's a miracle the agents outside haven't found us yet. We don't have time to take this slowly. I hope they know what they're doing, though, because remember, it makes quite a racket. They probably only have one shot at this, maybe two if they really push themselves, but as soon as they activate it, people are going to come storming in here. I wonder if he'll let me send a D-mail too. I can't really do much if he doesn't. Maybe I should just remain a simple collaborator. Besides, Daru probably doesn't want me getting too deeply involved. So...
送る D メールは僕の分とナイちゃん氏の分で計2通
Interesting. I always wondered if they could do that. It's pretty dangerous, because it'd be hard to undo that.
1通目を送った時点で外で見張ってる連中が僕らの存在に気づくはずだを2通目を送る余裕があるかどうかは運次第なわけ
Right.
ナイちゃん氏それでもいいいいなら誰宛てに送るか教えて
Daru looks at his PC monitor.
先に打ち込んどくからさ
私が送っていいの？
Yeah.
だが断るって言っても OK ナイちゃん氏が好きに選べばいいよ
So it's okay to send one.
メール自体はナイちゃん氏の携帯から電話レンジを経由して送るを全角18文字までしか送れないから気をつけて
Right. Who should I send my D-mail to? Mayuri? Suzuha? Uncle Okarin? No. There are things I want to say to the lab mems, of course. But more importantly, there's one person who I want to reach more than anyone else. Yeah. Daddy.
決めた。
After telling Uncle Daru my dad's cell phone number, he types it into the computer. I take out my phone to write my message. What do I want to say to him? There are so many things, but I can only send 36 characters. What do I want to tell Dad more than anything else right now? Man, could you imagine that? Like, God, this sucks. Dear Dad, I'm doing well. Please don't worry. This is the best I can do with a limited number of characters. But I feel as though it's more than enough.
タラおじさん、できた。
Dang. I hand him my cell phone. Daru takes it and checks the screen.
それで大丈夫かな？
うんバッチリだと思われじゃあ電話レンジにメールをくれるようにアドレスを入力してと
Right. Just then, Daru's big belly growls loudly.
おう腹減ったお
買っておいた差し入れ、もう残ってないの？
昨日の夜に全部食べ尽くした件についてキリ
Dang.
夜に食べたら太るよ。
No, it's a little late for that.
だがそれがいいあ、そうだ悪いんだけどナイちゃんしさまた買い出ししてきてくんない
This is when things go wrong, right?
え
I had a feeling.
まあ これが秋葉での最後の晩餐になるっぽい。電話レンジ起動させたらビルがすげえ揺れるからね。外の連中に気づかれるのはコーラを飲んだらゲップが出るより確実だお。
Oh, I know what he's doing. He's gonna send her away, and he's gonna send the D-mails to make sure she doesn't get caught up in the trouble.
ダルおじさん。
つうわけで、その前に腹ごしらえしとかないと逃げられんしょ。
There's no way you can run away from them, period, isn't it? Daru grins and hands me 1,000 yen notes.
つうわけで、ヨロ。
おじさん、私。
できればピザ頼みたいところなんだけどさ、さすがにそんなのしたらバレバレだし。
じゃなくて。
I get this feeling.
タイムマシンはいつ動かすの？
ナイちゃん氏が帰ってきて、飯食ったら始めますが何か。
Daru answers with his usual casual attitude.
そう。
I couldn't bring myself to ask any more questions. But somehow, I knew. I knew what Uncle Daru was planning to do.
どうしたん？
I stand up and extend my hand to Daru.
おじさん。握手してくれます。
いいですとも。
Daru wipes the sweat from his hands and his shirt and grabs my hand. It's still sweaty. Ugh. And way bigger than mine.
おお、ジェシーと生握手とか。僕は今まさに勝ち組となった。
He's got this creepy look on his face. I let go of Daru's hand and head to the bathroom. We have to go into the rear of the building through the small bathroom window if we want to get outside without the agents noticing. But Daru can't get through that tiny window by himself. There are only two methods for Daru to get out on his own. He can break the second floor window facing the street and jump, or he can open the front door and blazingly walk out.
じゃあ、買い出しに行ってくる。
オキドキ、気をつけて。
ねえ、ダルおじさん。
ん？
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
ダルおじさんは嘘が下手だね。
Oh.
どういうこと？
なんでもない。
I smile and wave my hand. And close the bathroom door. Goodbye, Uncle Daru. As always, I exit the rear building with a nonchalant look on my face. Then I walk around the front of Dad's building. I subtly look around and confirm the agents are watching today too. They really are here every day. It's possible that they already knew Daru and I were inside the whole time. Just thinking about it gives me chills. I decide to head to the train station. Ever since I started holding up in the lab with Daru, I've been eating unhealthy stuff like snacks and convenience store meals. I considered getting us something healthy for a change, but I decided to just go with the usual. By the time I've decided on that, I've walked up to the park. Behind me, I hear men shouting. I turn around as fast as I can. The agents from before are running into the street. They seem to be in a huge rush. Is it going? Easy fired it. I saw it too. In the lab that I left, the lab that Daru should still be in, the window facing the street was shining with a bluish white light. Huge flashes of light are coming from inside.
Time machine.
Here we go. Here we go. I had a feeling. As I thought, I'm just a helper. As I thought, I'm just an observer. I'm not truly involved. Daru never wanted that. I understood that. When Daru asked me to go shopping for him, he was trying to be gentle about it. I didn't stand up for his lie. I don't know if the time machine worked, or if the D-mail was sent to the past. I'm not allowed to see for myself. Oh no. Fetch. The lab window breaks and there's a small explosion. White smoke billows out from inside. What's happening? Did Daru do that, or did the time machine explode in an accident? Of course, this is Daru, so he might have set something like that up without me knowing. I tell myself that it must be it. Agents are rushing into Dad's building.
ねえ、ダルおじさん。
I watched the everything unfold from a little ways away.
もし私が買い出しに行きたくないってわがまま言ったら、おじさんはどうしてたのかな。
I don't know. I clench my hand into a fist and crumple up 2,000 yen notes. Then I realize that these 2 bills are the only connection I have to Daru. In other words, I don't even have proof that Daru was here. He really was like Alice's white rabbit, but a really fat one. Have to throw that in, don't you? I start tearing up. But I try to leave the area before the agents notice me. I'll return these 2,000 yen notes next time we meet Daru. It's been 2 weeks since Daru disappeared. After the raid, a small fire broke out in Dad's building and fire trucks raced to the scene. But Daru had vanished from the building without a trace. Not just him, the time machine we slaved away on for more than a week was nowhere to be found either. It's not like it burned up in the fire. There wasn't so much as a trace left. It was as though it was never there. The agents may have taken it away. Or, Daru told me if I recall, if a D-mail is sent successfully, the world line may change and it would be as though the message was never even sent. But I still remember the week I spent with that fat white rabbit, which must mean that the D-mail transmission failed. Or even if the D-mail was sent, it didn't make it so my time with the lab with Uncle Daru never happened. Several days later, my cell phone was mailed back to me by an unknown sender, but there was no record that it ever sent the D-mail. Looking back now, I start to wonder if those 9 days were actually a dream or some sort of hallucination. It's kind of unfortunate. Once summer vacation started, my team's activities were so intense I wasn't able to come here at all. Today marks exactly 2 weeks, so I decided to stop by. Yep. Up close like this, it looks pretty terrible. The second floor window's broken. I'm sure the inside of the lab is even worse. But for now, I don't have any plans to repair it. Uncle Yukitaka offered to pay for it, but I declined, saying that I don't have anything to do in there anyway. Of course, I do want to fix it up someday. That way the lab men can come back whenever they want. But right now, I actually want to leave it like this. If the building were repaired, it would feel like the days I spent with Daru never actually happened. I really couldn't stand him, even at the end, but it's kind of lonely with him gone. That's made it a lot harder to really get into my club activities. Interesting. I look around. The agents aren't here today. I don't know if that's just a fluke or if they disappeared with Daru 2 weeks ago. They might have left because they captured him, or because he's on the run and they're still after him. All sorts of possibilities spin around inside my head. But this is Daru we're talking about. I bet he's running around, coughing and wheezing out of breath. I can't help but laugh just imagining it. Just then, a small scrap of paper blowing in the wind caught on my foot. I casually pick it up. It's crumpled up and the handwritten letters on it are barely readable, probably because it got wet. I can tell it says Future Gadget Laboratory on it. This was stuck to the mailbox next to the stairs. It was only attached using tape or something, so it must have finally fallen off. I don't really want to take this down. Maybe I should write up another one and put it up there. Thinking it over, I walk to the mailbox. There, I know something. The mailbox for the first floor, the Braun Tube workshop, has a letter inside. When did it arrive? Today? Yesterday? A week ago? Or even... I've been here tons of times over the past 2 years, but when was the last time I actually checked inside the mailbox? I don't remember. Since I ran into Uncle Daru, I haven't used these stairs once. Naturally, I never would have checked the mailbox. Could even be a bill from the electric company or water company. These thoughts enter my head as I open the mailbox and take out the letter. I look at the addressee. My breath catches in my throat. Okay, this is addressed to me. It doesn't have a post office stamp on it. So somebody put it in here directly. I look at the back of the envelope, but the sender hasn't written their name. But looking at the lettering, I instantly know who it belongs to. There's no way I could forget.
お父さんの字だ。
Okay. What the heck? My fingers tremble as I hold the letter. Could this letter be here because Daru sent my D-mail? Did Dad really read my D-mail and write a reply? I managed to stay my trembling hands long enough to unseal the letter. Inside is a single piece of paper, written in a short and blunt message. I can't stop my tears from overflowing. But these aren't my usual crybaby tears.
お父さん。
These are tears of joy. So I don't need to hold back.
ありがと
Let's see. To my dear Nai, have you been well? I don't know how old you'll be when you read this, but nothing would make me happier as a father than knowing you're living a good life. Dad. So cute. Oh, and I guess that's the last CG. Guess I got all of them. I look up at the sky. The blue sky peeking between the buildings is blurred by my tears. It's well into summer. 2 years have passed since then.
う。私は元気でやってるよ。だから見守っていてね。
Right. I should call Rumio. I need to tell her that what she said wasn't a lie. I was able to meet my daddy again, so I'm sure this will see I'm sure I'll see the lab mems again somewhere too. I just have a feeling.
じゃあまた来るね。
I wonder if this is I wonder if she still goes psychotic in the future. Probably not though, because in that world line, Knife in the future came back when she was a child and kind of took control of her own life again. She didn't do that here. I whispered to Daddy's building. Then I walk off towards the station, and the midsummer sun shines down into Akihabara. Aww. The end is here. This will definitely be a shorter episode. I'm just enjoying the music for a bit, but yeah, this is a different song. What a freaking trip this was, man. Holy cow. It's been weird. When I first started Linear Bounded Phenogram, I didn't really know what to think about it. This is going to be a prelude to like the wrap party, because again, I'm going to do my wrap up and final thoughts for this, as well as My Darlings, or whatever the last Steins Gate game I'm going to be playing is. But I do want to say this is my basic summary. I think I was a little... The first story was really interesting, but then after that I kind of felt a little iffy about the whole thing. I like being able to explore more, but it felt like these stories weren't as well thought through or executed. Not that I didn't like them. That's the thing. Like, they are fantastic. Like, every single one of them I enjoyed on one level or another. I kind of, I felt a lot of, like, fun, fluffy feelings from the Mr. Braun path that you guys didn't see, and the Suzuha one was just wacky. But they were all good. They all added something to the lore, and I feel like there's a lot to be gained from it. But I also do think that there's a reason why these stories weren't included in in Steins Gate, like the main game. There's a reason why, and that's because they don't hold the same water. It's kind of silly to try and compare and say like, oh, well, this game's not nearly as good as the original. Of course it's not. It's kind of like Steins Gate Zero. Steins Gate Zero was never meant to surpass Steins Gate. Linear Bounded Phenogram was never meant to surpass. It's a supplement. It's for people who truly enjoy the experience so much they wanted to see more from the creators, and the creators had more to give. And so, by demand, I'm sure, they shared these stories, and I'm glad they did. They add some context. I like how we got to meet Yuki for the first time, because until Steins Gate 0, she wasn't fleshed out at all. She was kind of theoretical. We got to see like ideas and theories that came out, including in Suzuha's path. We got to see shadows of her alpha, beta, and I'm guessing the Steins Gate versions of Suzuha, which implies that she worked at the May Queen in the natural timeline, which is funny to imagine. But I also think it just shows a lot of like character growth, especially from other characters' perspectives. Gives us insight into like the power that Mayuri has. Gives us a lot of look into the determination of Ferris and how fragile her mental state is, like how much she pushes herself every day. We got to see a lot of just like flushed out and interesting side businesses and things that are echoed in Zero. Like the consistency between all the stories really is pretty powerful. The characters are so well written that they stay reasonable within each of their storylines, even if they're in like world lines that are just so far removed to almost be ridiculous. Like whatever 4.0 is, like the Delta world line, I guess I would call it. Those are more like thought experiments, because like obviously events played out differently with the Rounders, where the Rounders, instead of having it seemed like in that world line Tenoji was never a Rounder, and because of that he couldn't facilitate the coordination of the teams, so they coordinated from that base that was in the subway station. I think that they might have been coordinating from there in the first game too. This is something they never had room to talk about. But it was really cool to explore a lot of these ideas and just kind of play around with them. I think the weirdest one was Okabe's last one, where he like had the amnesia and was just running in circles through the same 3 world lines. It was a really interesting idea, but I think of all the stories I read, that one was probably one of the weakest. But it also had some of the most memorable moments, so I'm so happy it's there. And I'm looking forward to My Darling's Embrace, where I'm guessing it'll be a much shorter experience because I'm not going to go through all the endings. And I'm sure it'll just be very fluffy. Very, very fluffy. I'm curious to see how they pulled out dating sim off, but I'm excited to see how it works. Oh man. Thank you again, creators. They got some interesting stuff coming out, some new games, but I've heard some mixed feelings about Mage's new direction. But you know, these masterpieces have been worth every second. I'm glad they're part of my channel and that I get to continue and have been continuing to play them. And the 5 powered end games, thank you so much for what you've done. It's always sad to be at an end of a game, isn't it? Every time I feel like a little bit of like heartache. But we 100% cleared it too. Lunar Bifrost complete. Yep. That's the achievement there. We're going to get any others? I have no idea. New item, the CG library, which we got 100% of. Not that you can't. Like, there's no choices at all, so. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Welcome to the end of Steins Gate Linear Bounded Phenogram. So, like I said, next week we're going to roll right into it. Instead of doing a wrap party for this one, because I know My Darling's Embrace is likely going to be a very short series in comparison. Probably no more than a month we're going to spend in it, if I can guess. I have no idea. Of course, it's all blind. But I'm just going to roll right into that, and then we'll cover my thoughts on both of them and kind of Steins Gate as a whole in the future. There's a decent chance that that'll be happening sometime around Christmas, but again, it's hard for me to predict these things. I keep myself so blinded, and I purposely ignore and avoid any possible spoilers to the point where I have no earthly idea what to expect anytime I do a series. So, but we'll jump right into that. I'd love to know your thoughts about this. This episode will have finale on it, so I'm sure more comments will be on it than usual. So I'd love to know, what are your thoughts about the series as a whole? What do you think about Linear Bounded Phenogram? Like, do you think it's a good addition to the series, or is it something that you might only recommend to like the most diehard of fans? I might be in that ballpark. I'm not sure if I would hand Linear Bounded Phenogram to like somebody and be like, here, read these books. It won't make any sense without the context, and even with the context, it's not really necessary, but it's really, really fun all the same. I'm kind of sad I had to buy like Steins Gate Elite just to get this, because I have no intention of playing Steins Gate Elite. I mean, maybe someday in the far future we might play Steins Gate Elite. I could see that being a fun like live activity to do, maybe like a milestone. If we ever hit like, I don't know, like 10,000 subscribers or something, maybe that's something we can do, is like replay live Steins Gate Elite, comparing the differences and talking about it. But revisiting old games is not really something I have time for mostly. But the channel's been able to grow quite a bit, and we're making changes, as you can see. Not only is this look different, but it's also just you know, I've got the Patreon going, by the way, and thank you for those who are supporting me, and hopefully those who will continue to support the channel, because that support is going to get funneled right into trying to make this channel bigger and more consistent. And eventually I hope to get to the point where I can do this, like spend enough time on this where we could be having 5 to 7 videos a week, easy. I'm thinking 5 videos a week plus maybe live content occasionally. Like, I would love to get there someday. So thank you for those of you who are supporting that future hope. But regardless of whether you support the Patreon, thank you for being here. Good grief, it's far more important just to have you here. But I hope I can hear and talk to you. If you want to ever chat or like leave recommendations for future visual novels, please check out the Discord. Links in the description of the video. It's a great place to go. You can always share some stuff. There's a place where you can put fan art and various media of just like things you find that you just want to chat about visual novels with other people who like visual novels. You can see archives of like the comments we were making and posts we made as we go through each of the visual novels that we've gone through. And then I've got VN recommendations. It's just a big tab where you know that you can put down your recommendations. They're not going to get like deleted or set aside. I look to it often. I make a reference, and it's like a good way for me to help track what series you are interested in seeing in the future. So please make sure to recommend me anything you thought you'd like to see. And I'm sure it's and there's many that might have been already stated, but repeated statements can often help hammer home how much like a series is popular. In fact, that was what motivated me to get the House of Fata Morgana, and that was a fantastic series. Which, yeah, I guess if you're here and you finished Steins Gate and you want to see more visual novels, maybe stuff you haven't quite heard of. If you want something sci-fi, I would check out Ace Academy. It's an older video. My editing style even was different back then, but that's a cute little series. It's very sci-fi, goofy, with some intensity mixed in. If you want something like very serious and compelling, highly recommend Muv-Luv series. That's a bear, by the way. Like, it's like probably over 150 hours at this point of content, but my gosh, that series is phenomenal. Like Steins Gate is freaking great, but I think Muv-Luv actually beats it when it comes to like story quality characters. They're very, very good and very, very close, but I think Muv-Luv wins in the end. So I highly recommend that series, though again, all of these things are things you should probably play on your own first, and then join me and see what I thought as I went along the way. But, you know, that's all up to you. Ultimately, I'm just happy to be able to share this with you. I hope that you continue to support other visual novel creators. There's people trying to make new visual novels all the time. Keep an eye out for them. I try to as well. We'll probably cover some of them on Fridays. Pretty much Fridays are exclusively smaller content, either brand new series that just don't have much traction yet, or older series that have been ported over that slipped through the cracks, and I found some amazing stories that way. So I highly recommend that, and yeah, you know, if you want other stuff, there's tons. I got Katawa Sojo, I got, oh shoot, what's it called? Doki Doki Literature Club, of course, and then I have several others. I can't even think of off the top of my head, but they're all there. They're all archived on the channel, and if you haven't, but you want to see more content, I hope you stick around. I hope you keep in touch, and I always look forward to hearing and reading your comments. So thank you so much for being a part of this channel. Thank you for being part of this community. You guys are fantastic. I really look forward to talking to you all. Thanks for dealing with this long outro, but with such a short episode, I feel like I can ramble a bit more in my own space. I have a couple special projects coming out soon. Some of you may have followed the channel for a while. You've known that I've changed a lot in the past year. I lost a lot of weight. I have kind of an explanation video I want to do it justice. I want to make sure like I publish it properly, and it's either going to take like tons and tons of editing, or I'm going to have to hire editors, and I'm trying to decide which side I want to do. If I hire editors, it'll be expensive, but it'll be a quality product. If I do it myself, I don't know if I can do it justice just because I'm not skilled enough. But I also could, you know, make it mine. And there's something to that, even if it's not the most well edited. But yeah, so look forward to that. I can't give it a date just because I haven't figured out how I want to do the editing. But it's coming. I really want to push to make sure it happens before the end of the year. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff to share with you because there's a lot of good stuff to go on. But again, that stuff also, like, I don't want it to be a focus of my channel, so it's gonna be a one and done thing. I talk about it there, I'm gonna put all the information out there, and then on the channel, we focus on the stories. So yeah. Anyway, ramble, it's all over. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. As always, it's a pleasure having you here. And until the next video you're watching me, have to see me next. I'll see you there.